We're live.
Okay, we're live. So, welcome to a very special From Wallet to Wealth edition on the mother wound, healing the mother wound. And today we are continuing our discussion on the mother daughter relationship and the wisdom and wounds, the intergenerational wounds that we pass on from one generation to another. So healing happens in community. So I'm very happy to have a number of people here with us today. So Brittany Hammond will be our host. And I just want to quickly um, thank the ladies who have joined us. There's many more who want to be on, so we'll continue this talk. Monica Graves, thank you very much for being here. Sabrina Cartwright and Elvira Hopper, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you to be here.
All right. So I can see that everybody is trying to stream from their cell phones. So I haven't done that yet. So yeah, so last Monday and the Monday before, Brittany and I started to talk about the mother wound and how we get messages from one generation to another. And sometimes the messages are not said, they're seen or they're absorbed. And Brittany's much better at explaining this than I am, that's for sure. Take it away.
Well, essentially, the mother wound is the generational messages that are passed from mother to daughter, and it's the unexpressed pain and grief that often comes from being a woman. So, like motherhood, relationships, in all different aspects. And yeah, it's just those messages that can either expand us or hinder us. And I thought it'd be interesting to have a panel of women share a variety of different experiences so that those watching know that you're not alone, because oftentimes we feel alone, like we're the only person who has experienced this, when really we all experience it because it's a collective wound. So yeah.
Awesome.
So, well, we're just going to dive in and we're going to try and keep this to about 30 minutes. For those of you who are watching, though, if there is something that resonates, like let the guests know, type something in the comments, be interactive. There's a lot of healing in witnessing and just expressing yourself. So we're gonna try and keep it to about 30 minutes, and we have about 5 core questions, and we're each just gonna share our truth. So the first one is, what is one thing that you needed growing up that you didn't get from your mom? Like one thing you needed to hear or to know. And we'll start with mom, because you're at the top left of my screen.
Oh, no, that's not fair because Monica's at the top left. Okay. So of course, I'm sure my mom is watching this, or she may be watching it in hashtag replay. But anyhow, what I needed from my mom was strategy and intelligent thinking. And I kind of go back to this moment when I was in grade 4 and everyone hated me in the school. I was in a brand new school and they hated me and they whipped snowballs at me and called me names and washed my face out with snow. And like every day I was getting bullied. And I would go home and I would cry, and my mom would like just give me all this incredible love and you're okay. And she did all of this stuff. And it was the worst year of my life. And I remember thinking it was a pivotal moment. And I remember thinking, that's what I didn't need. I needed some strategy and rational thinking and what I was supposed to do. And so here she did probably the best thing she could have done. And yet my mind was like, no, I needed to learn how to fight and have a strong backbone. And I bet you any money, if she said to me what I said to my kids was, I just go punch them out, right? My kids, because I told my daughters that all the time. I just go punch them out. And then probably my daughters probably needed me to say, oh, it's okay. You don't need to be treated that way. So that's my story.
I'll just segue into that because I also was bullied growing up, and I just needed to be told that I was loved and I was worthy. Like I already spent too much time in the principal's office. If I was punching people out or spitting on them, I mean, I kind of did some of that stuff, but I kept getting in trouble.
She
So,
spit on somebody in a subway in France and they were trying to arrest her.
yeah. And I was in my 20s.
That's another story.
Yeah. Monica, on to you.
Oh my God. Okay. I love that you opened this up with how we're all different and we all need different things. So, because my mommy's watching too, and you feel nervous. It's like, I don't want to place blame. I just want to talk about what I needed, which is beautiful. You guys have done that so eloquently. So, my big thing I wish my mom had taught me was not to be a people pleaser. And I can see where it came from. Like, I even remember we would have these big gatherings at the cottage, and my brother and I would have to go around and kiss everybody goodnight or hug them, and I hated doing it. And I would like wait, I'd like be peeling my eyes open just not to go to bed, to have to go around. And I think that that's just, there is no blame. Like, you can see how your parents do this because they want to show the friends and family, look how well behaved our children are. But there's a domino effect to that as we grow into women, and this people pleasing thing it's a tough one to work through, that's for sure. So I wish my mom had said, you know what, not everybody has to like you, and that's okay. Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Sabrina, on to you.
On to me. I guess I would be the opposite of Whitney. I needed those hugs, that warmth, empathy, compassion, and emotion. My mom was not one to show a lot of emotion. In fact, a lot of people would have described her as cold. Um, but if I look at my grandmother on my maternal side and my great grandmother on my maternal side, they also came across as cold individuals. There wasn't a lot of hugs, kisses, I love yous in our family. Now, I also think for my mom, she had me very young. I was born 3 days after her 16th birthday. So she didn't get an opportunity to experience life, to learn some life lessons outside of the home. All she knew was what she learned in the home. So, I certainly don't blame her for the fact that she wasn't able to kind of show more love. I know she loved me. And now that I'm older, I can certainly understand things better. But when you're a child, you just want, to be hugged and told, I love you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Interesting dynamic I want to point out. It's like the two opposites of the spectrum, being a people pleaser or being like cold. And that cold woman, that term, we've heard that. I've heard that a lot before. And
Yeah.
it's two side effects of the mother wound. Like the people pleasing, we go into like serving, 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 taking care of the family, or we become the opposite and we're refrain, we're cold, we don't share our emotions. So anyways, as the MC, I just wanted to add that in there. Elvira.
Oh my God. I'm loving this conversation. And I can relate to everyone because of who I am, because of who my mother is. And my mom was the people pleaser who was cold, interestingly enough. And this is how she was raised. God bless her. Her mother actually became the little woman of the family when she was 10 because she lost her own mother. So my great grandmother died when my grandmother was 10. So my mother was not mothered well. And so my mother did the best that she could with me. And when I became a new mom, I had to go for 2 years of therapy to get over my mommy issues. So that is why I'm an incredibly fantastic relationship today with my mother. But when I was a little girl, I just wanted that mom that would hug me and tell me that I was going to be okay. And I remember going to her when I was 16 and I was having problems with this boy that had broken my heart. And I just wanted her to sit with me and just tell me that it was going to be okay. And do you know what she was doing? She's like, I'm too busy. I have to clean the kitchen. My mom had OCD. That's how she dealt with her mother wound.
Wow.
So that's what she did. She didn't know how to be with me. And I was a very sensitive, artistic child. I'm an artist, right? I'm a healer. I'm an empath, right? This is who I am. And so I didn't have the mother I wanted, ladies. but I had the mother I needed to turn me into who I am today. Because today I'm a fierce, badass coach and healer, and I'm the founder of the Love Your Vibe Transformation, which is a beautiful system that helps us all do our inner work as heart-centered humans. So I am so freaking grateful I got that mother. But as a kid, oh my God, I did not have the mother I wanted, but I did have the mother I needed.
Love that.
Dang. So moving on to the second question, and I'm just being mindful of time, but maybe we do this one in like a few word kind of answer. So, as a female, sorry, do you feel being a female has limited you or expanded you? And I'll start and I'll make the joke I did before we went live, which is as a millennial, I have never felt limited being a female. Whitney.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. The whole drive with me, that the thread for me for like, I don't know, more than 50 years was that I was a second class citizen because I was a female, and it manifested in just a horrible way. And I attracted all sorts of stuff that reinforced that. But what's really interesting is that it's turned around in that I am in a male dominated industry for over 25 years, and heavily male dominated. So I really get noticed, and it's actually been an incredible strength in my business because I think that, I hate to say this, but women tend to be a little bit more trusted from the get-go, and I'm dealing in finance. So it's all worked out for me now, but I still have the scars from the past. And so I still, got to let that go.
Oh, Monica.
I feel very lucky. I'm more on your side, Britt, that my mom and dad both were very, very supportive, always believed in me. So I felt like I could do anything. And my mom was a kick-ass she always had a side hustle. So she worked full time, plus she did income tax preparation for people. She taught English as a second language. I don't know if you guys remember decoupage, but she used to make decoupage. Remember that? Yeah. So she always had something going, and she was always using both sides of her brain, which I feel like I inherited from her, because even though I'm a creative, like an Excel document still gets me like super excited. So, but to answer the question, no, I've never felt that way. And I've always had a lot of guy friends, but kind, gentle men, like all awesome, wonderful men around me. So yeah.
Nice. Send me one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me? Okay. So yeah, my mom, God bless her, I explained what happened to her because of her mother wound. Yet she was a kick-ass person in terms of she was a seamstress. She made my wedding dress. She made all the bridesmaids. She was making wedding dresses when she was 13. We were born in Italy, and she learned how to be a tailor when she was 13. She was making wedding dresses. Can you imagine? 13-year-old girl making wedding dresses. That's how kick-ass she was. So she was fierce. So honestly, I did get the message that I could do anything I wanted. So yeah, very similar to Monica.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sabrina.
I should believe that being a female is limiting, because that was the home I was raised in. There was a lot of male chauvinism. But the more that was thrust upon me, the more I refused to accept that ideal. So actually, I don't think being a female has limited me in any way. In fact, I think it's empowered me.
Awesome.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so question number 3. What is one lesson or wisdom that your mother has passed on to you that has profoundly changed your life in a positive way?
Love it.
Who do you want to go?
Oh, I forgot I was the one. I'm like, wait, passively listening. Okay, well, I'll start because one of the things you said, Monica, that kind of sparked it for me, but definitely like growing up knowing that I was an artist, but getting this like business savvy, like even though my mom doesn't think I'm good at math, I actually think I'm good at numbers, and I have been able to like have these two sides of me, which a side fact, my maternal grandmother on my dad's side also was an artist and an entrepreneur. And so there's positive, like the mother wound isn't just the wound, it's the positive things that we inherit as well. So I think like really having that um like having a mom who is such a strong leader, like also contributed to me never feeling limited by being a female, because for me my mom was like the king, the queen of the house, and so I never thought, oh, I can't do anything. Like I just had the belief I could do whatever I wanted. So
And you
yeah.
did.
Yes. And I named my company Untamed.
Aw.
Sabrina, let's start with you.
Strength. I definitely inherited strength from my mother. My mom was the one who told me if a kid hit me in school, hit them back, but hit them harder. She kind of taught me to take no guff from anybody, to stand up for myself, stand my ground. And again, if I look back at all the women in my family, I do come from a long line of very strong women. They all endured some major hardships and trauma, which I suspect may also have led them to be cold, because it's hard to show emotion when you're living in survival mode all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Monica.
My mom is totally responsible for my sense of adventure. She is amazing. She's the reason I jumped into Georgian Bay with Whitney on October the 3rd, 2021.
Yeah, you did that.
She's so awesome. And she's always like, she backpacked through Europe. She hitchhiked through Europe with my father's sister before she married my dad. And then she took, after my parents were married, they went on this crazy trip through Europe and Africa. They bought a Volvo in Sweden. My mom planned all that stuff. Like my dad would never have had the joyful traveling experiences he had he not met my mom. And I remember just after my dad died, my mom and I were going down to the Florida Keys together. This was like the year after. And, we're grieving and everything. And I said, Mom, what would make me feel better is if we could go see Elvis. Let's go to Graceland. So she said, sure. And it was like totally off track, not on our way at all. We went right across, out of the direction we were going to go and see Graceland together. And she's just always been that way. So easygoing and the best travel buddy. She's very
That's awesome.
adventurous. Yeah.
Yeah. I love your mom.
Yeah. And when I said,
I want your mom.
yeah, she's the best. And when I said to her, I do not want to go to university, it's not for me, she said, okay, then get a job, get your money together, and you're going to Europe. You must, I was like told, you must backpack through Europe, because the best lesson you can learn is your independence. And when you can live off of the bag on your back, then, you're going to be a stronger person for it. And she was right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You guys can borrow my mom anytime.
Different message in our family.
It's a great perspective though, and I feel like just because I'm, clearly like the millennial here, but I think that's why a lot of people in my generation, like that's what we do. Like we want that independence. Like we weren't 20 and got married. We were like 20 and I'm ready to discover the world kind of thing. Because like you said, Monica, like you do learn how to be independent when you have a backpack and you're trying to navigate foreign countries. And anyways, clearly I've traveled as well.
Yeah, it's so cool.
On to you.
Yeah, I'm next.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, my mother taught me resilience and endurance, and she was a fierce badass. My dad had a breakdown in his 50s. That's part of my story, is my father lived out of alignment just as I did for most of my life, till I had my breakdown and my breakthrough. And this is the system now I help others with. But my father, when he had a breakdown in his 50s, he got bullied at work and he had a mental breakdown. He had to go on meds for the rest of his life. And I saw my father go to a shell of himself. And my mother, she picked up and she took care of the family, and she brought in the money, and she was so strong. And she would say to me when I was a little girl, like, she didn't give me a lot of, the warmth and everything that I needed. She was too busy cleaning. That was her OCD, always cleaning. But she did say to me, tu sei strong, which is a combination of Italian and English. Tu sei strong, you are strong. And whenever I'd be down crying over an exam or something, she would just stop me and say, tu sei strong. And I would say, I am strong, right? And that was it. That kept me going. Those three little words, tu sei strong.
Oh, awesome.
Mom, on to you.
Oh, okay. So for my mom, she taught me financial independence and management from a really young age. So I was really different to my siblings because they weren't. So yeah, so so she taught me about the independence. But the thing is that I watch her, and I think deep down inside, she wants to be independent, but she, for some reason, I guess it's the message from behind the past that she needs to be married. And for me, I don't know. I believed I had to be married. I haven't been married for more than 20 years, but I believed that I had to be married. And I never needed to be financially independent. So she'd given me the building blocks, and thank God she did, because I ended up on my own young, and raising children, as Brittany said, I was like the mom and the dad in the household. So so that was a really valuable lesson. And then of course it kickstarted my career 25 years ago. So
Awesome. Okay, so again, being mindful of time, we do have 3 questions left, but Mom, is there one that you really want me to focus in on?
I like the one about the pivotal moment or change that brought you closer to your mom,
Okay.
because I think
Uh,
we all had that.
yeah.
Don't ask me
Okay.
first though.
Okay, so what was the pivotal moment or change that brought you closer to your mom? And we'll start with Sabrina.
Uh, Unfortunately, my mother and I still have a somewhat strained relationship. I do love her. She'll always be my mom. But we will never have the mother-daughter relationship that I dreamed of. And just more recently, through counseling, I've come to terms with that, and I'm learning that I kind of have to accept that my mom is who she is, and just build a relationship with that person, not the kind of ideal that I wish she was.
Yeah,
Good
that's
one.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Monica.
So my mom and I, we were very close always. And especially when I was 12 and 13, we kind of went from mother-daughter to, like, it almost felt like best friends. Then I went into high school and I didn't want my mom to be my best friend anymore. And I started to rebel. And my rebellion really peaked when I was, I would say, 18, 19, 20. And that's where we started to have more conflict and all this kind of thing. So what I did was I decided to go out and find myself a guy who had long hair and looked like Robert Plant and rode a motorcycle and smoked way too much dope and move in with him. And so that's what I did. And I was 21 years old, and that relationship lasted 2.5 years. But, with every hardship, there is always a blessing. And that was the blessing. It brought me back to my mom in a new way. I think we had respect for each other as women, not as best friends or as mother-daughter. It was just sort of this thing that happened. And then from there, I lived with my mom and dad at home for a few months. And then I got myself my own little apartment in the west end of Oakville. And it was great. Like, that was like a probably one of the most stressful times in my life that just redirected me in where I needed to be with my mom and my dad, for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I wouldn't recommend that to anybody who's rebelling.
I think mothers are always right. So you went back to her and
Yeah.
she was probably right, but you just had to spread your wings.
Oh yeah. I should have backpacked through Australia instead, but anyway.
Mom, how about you?
Oh God. I think like, so first of all, like I I didn't have like the estranged relationship with my mom like my siblings did. So, you know, we were just always close and talked and all of that stuff. But I do remember a couple times in my life being a bit like rude, and you know, there was a couple issues where we had some spats, and I can't remember what those details were, but I, you know, I didn't like that behavior. You know, I didn't think it was right. But then when I had a big fight with my older daughter about 3.5, close to 4 years ago, it, it what happened was after that, because it was really bad, I phoned my mom and I said to her, Mom, I am sorry for anything I didn't do, said, didn't say, like anything I have ever done to you in your life to annoy you or upset you. I said, I'm really sorry. And she was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for you to say that to me all of my life. And I was like, whoa, what have I done? So yeah, I just think as daughters, I think we have to be really careful what we say to our moms in our fits of anger and frustration, because those things that we say and do are not forgotten. For my mom to have reacted like that to me, considering we had a decent relationship for 58 years. I mean, I used to call her all the time and talk for hours. My mom tells me to do something, I do it. I learned a long time ago when she says, hey, do this, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not going to argue with that. Right. Cause she always knew what was best. So I think that as moms, you know, we do sacrifice a lot in our lives, and we work really hard. Like being a mom is a job. And when someone turns around and says to you, hey, you didn't do it right, I mean, that's the stake in the heart that's almost unforgivable. So yeah. So I think, so for me, it's, that was a pivotal moment, right? So being, you know, having it whipped back in my face, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Elvira.
Wow, that just really gets me emotional, Whitney. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Yeah, so for me, ladies, I told you I went to therapy for two years to get over my mommy issues when I was a new mom. And I was behaving in really weird, erratic ways. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so I went to therapy and found out that, I had mommy issues. And I was able to say this, like Sabrina, at the end of 2 years, I was able to say my mother did the best that she could from her state of consciousness. If she had known better, she would have done better. But really mean that, like not just talk it, really embody that. And that's what I was able to do. And thank God, I ended up having a good relationship. But the real magic actually just started happening recently, because I've been doing this inner work for a long time. And recently with my mother, I had an amazing conversation where she's 82 years old, but she got that how she was showing up was not empowering to her or to me. And I was able to share very honestly how I saw her, and I invited her to another possibility of showing up in the world. And she said to me, oh my God, Elvira, you're so smart. I'm going to do that. And I'm like, what is going on? She's 82 years old. We can change, ladies, till the day we die, right? Our brains are neuroplastic. And that is what I really believe. And we can always have conversations if they're open, right? Some conversations cannot be had. But if you feel it in your heart, try it. Talk to me. I can help you.
I love that. Yeah. Invite somebody to step up.
Oh,
yeah.
It's beautiful. Miracles can happen. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Well,
Monica.
Mine was the
Monica
pothead. The motorcycle guy.
Oh yeah, we did it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want me to talk about him again, eh?
He sounds like fun, Monica.
Well,
Oh my
there were fun moments.
I've never done that before. I always had to go for square heads.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
the hair was beautiful. The hair. Yeah. Anyway.
So to close it off on me, mine was about self-actualization and really coming into my own. And I think that, and this is obviously like my heart is like beating really fast right now because my mom doesn't know this, but well, maybe she knows. But like for me, I did have that untamed side to me, and I was gonna do things my way. And I think when I had this moment in my business where like things weren't working and I was struggling financially, and I was just like, I'm gonna figure this out, like even if I have to struggle for a few years. And really it was like the birth of Wallet to Wealth. I think when I felt like my mom finally saw my entrepreneurial gifts, like she saw that like I can be a self-made woman, like I'm not, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, but like I was just never going to be an employee, and I never have, like other than when I worked at McDonald's when I was like a kid. So there was I felt like that, like my mom like really recognizing me and seeing me, and then like I felt like that changed our relationship, because before that there was a lot of friction of like this is who I am, and like do this, be this, and I was like, no, I'm over here. So I feel like that's really brought us together. But also in the sense of like healing and being able to have these conversations, like the conversations we're having here. I mean, not many people get to have these types of conversations with their parents, right? If they're not immersed in personal development or healing or therapy or anything, like a lot of these things do remain unspoken, which then perpetuates the wound, and then we pass it on to our kids. So just to bring that full circle, is there anything that we want to, Mom, anything you want to?
I have to jump in here. Because I think what happens from generation to generation. So whoever we are, like, hey, I'm this person. But the generation above is like, you should be this. Like, I mean, so my thing, not from my mom, but that like my dad's generation was like, you should get a job and stay there for 35 years and, the pension and the blah, blah, blah. So a lot of us had that, right? And the thing is, so the kids like squeaking, no, 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 no. And, I don't think it's that the parent is like pushing you down and not seeing you. I think what it is it's just a track that they're on. Cause I'm hearing that with Britt, right? Is, like the track, we get on this track, and it's not really that we're not seeing our child. We're just, on this track. But I do have to say about, From Wallet to Wealth, like it's an unbelievable birthing, and it energetically, spiritually, was born, and Brittany, it would never have happened without Brittany, and it definitely wouldn't run without her. But remember us standing here in the kitchen, and you're like, Brittany says to me, oh, that's it, Mom, like I just have to save you on this, right? And she said to me, I'll give you, I think it was like 2 months, I'll give you 2 months, give you a few months of my time. And she goes, that's it, I'm out of here. And so she's been doing, how long have we been doing it now? 3 years? Like, yeah, like, so we can't stop doing this. Like I can't run it without her, and it has to keep running, because what it does is it brings platforms like this, like people are healing, and the messages that we get, and how we're all connected together. It's incredibly magical. And Britt, yeah, you're in your zone of genius with everything that you did. But we always used to say to Britt, like, you must have lived like lives before, because you know stuff that you didn't learn that in school. Like, things that, how do you know that?
I don't know. I'm just like a starseed child. You gave birth to this, like.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Thank
letting
you.
the creativity flow, either way, like, us loving our moms for who they are, and then our moms loving us for who we are. Brittany didn't go down the path of becoming an accountant or something like that. And it was kind of hard, because she was raised with me with a left brain, me left brained, and her sister left brained. And then Brittany was very right brained. And so, we're all different, but we're all incredibly talented and creative in our own way. So I love women. I have to say that since Wallet to Wealth, like I love women.
Awesome.
And we love
You're
you,
here,
Whitney.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thank
And
you.
for those of
Thank
you
you.
watching, I see some comments. We're gonna go and read them after. And ladies, feel free to share on your pages, and we'll just continue this conversation in the Wallet to Wealth Facebook group.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. This
You
was
guys
amazing.
are such an inspiration, honestly, to do this together, have this conversation together. I just bow down to you. Like, you guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. And it's all spontaneous. We didn't have anything pre-recorded or discussed.
Yeah.
So thank you for everybody. And Sabrina, thank you for being here when you're not feeling well today. So
No, no problem.
yeah. Okay. See you next
Awesome.
Monday.
Bye.
I'm in Bahamas, by the way, next Monday. So
Ooh,
we'll see how
bring
this
back some sunshine.
goes.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I gotta get this turned off. Sorry.